Hello there, my name is Dane Tullock. I'm 45. I live here in wonderful Woburn, Massachusetts, just north of Boston, and I cook in the great outdoors. Welcome to my home. This is our rescued Rottweiler, Jackson. He's kind of the mascot for my site. He's our good buddy. He's been with us for about 2 years, and he's a great addition to the family. Now over here you can see where I do a lot of my cooking. In the background you can also see my fishing kayak and my whitewater kayak that I use a lot to surf in the ocean. You can also see our garden, which is ready for the winter right now. So it's all cleared of the annuals. You can see that we still have a little bit of remnant sagebush there, which really grew up big like a hedge this year, and some mint and a little bit of green onion. So tonight I'm going to make a pork roast, a roasted pork shoulder that we're going to do a pulled pork. We're going to make a little sweet cornbread, and then also I'm going to do one of my my favorite bacon green bean recipes. So we're going to cook it here on the wonderful Weber grill. This is a wedding present that we got this year. So before we go inside, I'm going to go ahead and light up the fire so that can get started, and I'll show you inside. So love this grill. Nice gas starter. Don't have to worry about any lighter fluid smells or anything, so you just pop it on, open up both louvers, and let those coals get set to go. Now, one of the things I love to do is cook with hardwood charcoal, and I actually have some sage right there out of our garden that's soaking in some water so that it can be nice and wet, give it a lot of smoke. And then down here I always keep some wood chips ready to go, so that whenever I'm barbecuing, those wood chips are soaked and ready to go in the fire. Jackson, go to your place. Go to your place. Yay, good dog. As you can see, Jackson is well behaved and well trained. When they found him, he weighed 75 pounds in North Carolina. Now he weighs about 135. Obviously, he's a happy pup. We had to work with a trainer for a full year because Jackson had a lot of issues, but now he's fairly well adjusted. He still gets a little rowdy once in a while. Jackson, can you sit? Can you sit? Sit. Come on, buddy. Don't make me look bad on camera for the folks. Yay! I love to surf, and I love VW vans and bugs. My wife had this. She found this at a local market and got it for me secretly right before our wedding. As she pans over, you can see all of our DVDs. And on the top there, you can see a VHS copy of Kiss Meets the Fam, signed by none other than Ace Frehley, lead guitarist of Kiss, original lead guitarist of Kiss, and a DVD copy of Point Break, signed by the crazy man himself, Gary Busey. I had the chance to interview Gary a few years ago. Back here is the cool stuff. 9 classic arcade games from the 1980s. We have, of course, Donkey Kong, Bosconi, and William Stargate and Defender, Sinistar, Robotron, which I'm ranked 17th in the world on, Pac-Man, one of my wife's favorites, Tron, one of my favorite games, Millipede, which needs a little love right now, and then Centipede, another one of my wife's favorite games. I love to come down here and just decompress and relax and play video games, and maybe we'll come down here a little bit later to go through some stuff, but let's get back to cooking right now. Here's our kitchen. It's rather humble, as you can tell. So it's a good thing that I love to cook in the great outdoors, because our kitchen is pretty minimalistic. We rent right now, don't have a lot of extravagant stuff. You can see our electric range, no big deal. If you pan over here, you can see all our appliances, the Cuisinart and the bread maker. And this is the most important part of the kitchen right here. This is my grandmother's original cast iron skillet. This very skillet was used to make all those wonderful southern dishes that I love. Fried catfish, okra, pork chops. They were all made right in here. I inherited this skillet when my grandmother passed away, and I used it for a long time. And now it resides in a place of honor to remind me where the soul of my cooking comes from and where my love of cooking comes from my grandmother and southern cooking and all that wonderful upbringing. Alright, enough about me. Now the important thing, the food. I've had a pork shoulder brining in the fridge, sitting in a brine solution of amber beer, a little bit of miso, some soy sauce, and some salt water. We're going to take that out of the fridge and get it out on the fire. And I have my trusty headlamp because you know it's fall in New England. We just turned our clocks back, so here it is, 5:30, and it's already pitch black outside. Let's go. The part of cooking in the great outdoors is learning how to deal with all the elements. In this case, not a lot of light. So I've already put the wood chips and the soaked sage on the fire, so they're on the side there. Now the point, I'm going to take this pork shoulder and actually put it on the fire and then sear all the sides. Oh, this is a big pork shoulder. Fat side down first, right over the flame. Hear that sizzle. This is going to be awesome. It's going to take a while to cook, but it's going to taste so good. So I'll sear all the sides. In the meantime, we'll go inside and work on the cornbread and the green beans. So this cornbread recipe is a variation of my grandmother's handwritten recipe that's been handed down to me in this format. So what we're going to do is we got 2/2 of a pound of bacon. 1/2 is going to go in the cast iron skillet for the crackling cornbread. The other half is going to go into the preparation for our green beans a little bit later. You can see I got my bacon all fried up, all that grease. We're not going to put that to waste. You can see I got my cornbread mix here. So what we're going to do real quick is take all this amazing bacon and juice and grease. We're going to put it right in the cornbread. So we're just going to add all that right in there. Make sure you get all that grease. That's going to provide our fat instead of putting oil or anything else in there. And then we're not going to wash this. You never wash a good cast iron skillet with soap and water. Never ever put soap in a good cast iron skillet if it's seasoned. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix all this up. And it's looking pretty good. We're going to put it right back in that nice seasoned cast iron skillet with all that bacon grease and juice, and we're going to throw it in the oven and cook it for about 20 minutes. So we're back outside checking in on the pork shoulder, and as you can see, it's getting nice and cooked about 1.5 hours in. So while the cornbread's cooking on the inside, we wanted to take a look at the pork shoulder to make sure we're doing good, no flare-ups and whatnot. And you want to cook this sucker fat side down, so in case there are any flare-ups, you don't have any issues with destroying any of your good meat. So there you go. We'll come back to it in just a little bit. Alright, the pork shoulder is almost completely finished. It's been cooking about 3 hours, a little bit longer, and it's going to be done. So we're going to start on the green beans. Very simple southern green bean recipe. We're going to take some fresh bacon, the other half of that pound that I used, some garlic, the green beans, and we're going to throw them right in the hot cast iron stove. As you can see, the cornbread is looking nice and golden brown. We have a little bit of honey butter that we're going to put in the depression in the middle of the cornbread to make it nice and sweet when that's all ready to serve. But let's get this bacon going. Before I forget, Michelle, come here for a second. We need to introduce you. So here is your cameraman. That's my wife, Michelle. Say something, Michelle.
Something.
There you go. She is my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. I love her to death. She's been behind me through this whole process. And yeah, so she's your cameraman. Thank you so much. I love you, baby. Okay, folks, we're all set. The pork shoulder is completely cooked. It just literally fell off that shoulder bone. It looks so good and juicy and tasty. We have the shoulder bone itself, which we're going to save to make a stock for some risotto later in the week. We have our mustard-based Carolina barbecue sauce. Always have to have a little beer with barbecue. We have our green beans with bacon, fresh sage, a little bit of fresh homemade garlic powder, a little touch of salt, and some coarse ground pepper. And then, of course, we have our spicy crackling cornbread. Put a little honey butter in there. Let that soak in the middle. And then I'm going to go over to the table and set it up for Michelle, and we're going to start eating. Alright, Master Chef, here we are. We thank you so much for coming into our home. We're very proud to share it with you. We have our pork shoulder that was roasted over the fire, our sweet and spicy crackling cornbread. We have my wife's, Michelle, right here. She made this wonderful banana bread for us. We have some mustard-based South Carolina barbecue sauce, a little brouhaha for me with the barbecue, and some green beans mixed with bacon and fresh herbs. This is the type of setup that we have on a regular basis. Now, typically we'd also have about, what, 20 of our best friends here? Yeah, trying to get in on some of this action as well, but this is special for you guys tonight. So thank you so much for this opportunity to bring cooking in the great outdoors to the folks at MasterChef, Fox TV, and hopefully the entire country soon. So we'll be seeing you guys soon on MasterChef and Fox TV. Until then, we're gonna eat.